Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed still a thing. And with that, I will say a couple of hellos and say who else in the chat. And could you give me a wee audio check, please, if anybody's indeed in there? First in was a wonderful Emma G, followed up secondly by Anglo-Saxon. Evening, brother. Bluebird, what about you, chum? Glad you came back. Thank you very much. Broadsend, hoit. And the audio's good. Fuck me, we're all over everything. This is great. This is great. We'll start. Mark Sheldon's in. What about you, chum? What all have we got tonight? We're going to talk about some mysteries such as Lord Lucan and the Mary Celeste, which I actually thought was quite interesting whenever I started to look up about it. The Earl of Stir is in. David Banner's in. What about you, chum? David does good live streams if you're interested in what's going on in the flat earth world. Also, very nice bunch of people in his chat. It's always friendly, it's always good fun. A lot of crossover with the Waffler House people. So with that, I think we will roll on with the housekeeping, which I have no fucking clue about, but I'm going to give you guesses. First guess is tomorrow night, Sunday night at 7 p.m. I would say Jack and Rags, One Momento. Right, sorry about that. Jack and Rags will be on a stream tomorrow night with a guest. I have no clue who it is. I haven't seen any thumbnails or anything, but there you go. That should be happening. Other than that, John Davison, Tuesdays and Fridays. No, not that one. It's a mystery. Why we hear history? No, not that one. But I was contemplating playing that, so you never know, it could come out. It's all mad. Yes, John Davison. I think it's Tuesdays and Fridays from 9 o'clock. You get his stream. If you want kept up with what's going on in politics and all the madness in the world today, Robin is your girl for that. Runs a channel called Courage is a Cure. She's from down under and she covers about all that, what's going on with the governments and all that good stuff if you like that. And the other show that I always give a shout out to is Mr. Dave Waffle House. Streams every night at 8:30. Runs the now world famous best duck race on the internet every Friday night, which is indeed metamorphosizing in that now there's a couple of ways you can get ducks. You can get free ducks by arbitrary rules within the streams. You can leave a comment and get free ducks, and you now get the Wheel of Doom at the end of it, which will dictate which of the prizes you get. So there you go. It's very good. Mad as a box of frogs, but it's actually ducks. And Dave, in case you are watching, I do have something for you on this. Just one momento. I get this up. Yeah. Dave, actually, Emilius, if you're watching and catch up. Anstrophobia, the fear you're being watched by a duck, which I do believe that Dave is currently suffering from because the ducks seem to be absolutely everywhere. And there's Pat Ann. What about the chum? Glad to have you aboard. What else? We can stop that chair. We'll take that down. What else have we got? We're going to begin with a. Actually, we might leave it because the wonderful Emma G seems to have disappeared again. Emma, are you still in here? Ha! Right. How do you win the duck race? First of all, you've got to get into the duck race. I suppose probably should. There's Eyes Wide Shots is in. What about you? Right. So, Dave Waffle House streams every night 8:30. Get into the Dave Waffle House chat. You'll like the people there, Mrs. Puddleluck. They are nice and friendly. Politically, they would all be of our persuasion, or at least they are not woke and stupid. But if you leave a comment under his stream, you get a duck entered in the duck race on Friday night. Your name goes on the duck, and then at 9:20 on Friday night, or just after that, Dave runs a duck race. He commentates on it. It's all very good fun. And whoever's duck wins the race gets a prize. I can't remember who it was won last night, but what I do know is that they had two ducks in the race, and one of them was leading the charge. And just as it faltered, the second duck came and took it over. I think they were working as a team to get the win. But it's all very good. So get yourself over to Mr. Dave Waffle House. I will actually see if I can get that link into the chat. It may be an all professional and everything. Dave's Waffle House. No. Let's see if I can do this. One momento. If you're not already subbed to Dave Waffle House, that's the link in there now. Oh, Don Browning's in from Down Under. Welcome aboard, Don. On the taxi, Judah. Yes, it was. It was Peter Benton and Billy Blow. Oh, fuck. Every time you comment, there's a fear that Billy Blogs is going to be right after you. That would be quite the fear. Did I say Don Browning? My fucking head's away with. Ah, that was Dave. He's listening, but he's doing daddy taxi. Yes, see, because his daughter's out doing all that Christmas stuff. Yep, really good fun channel. That one thing I am going to say is what I've come out of this year with is a very firm belief. If it wasn't there already, but I've definitely solidified on. See the British people. If we went out of this shit, if we want to improve, there's no way that that happens unless we improve our communities, and that is the very bottom line. We need stronger communities. We need better interactions with each other. We need to be able to recognize each other, and that all starts with things like the scrubs, things like the chat in Dave's Waffle House, things like the chat that come in here. And I know there's a lot of crossover with all three of those. The common denominator is mostly Chris Dangerfield. Chris does not know how much good he has done for the British people, because all the good stuff that's come out of the scrubs has inevitably been the the responsibility of Chris, because he brought everybody together. But we need stronger communities. We need to be interacting with each other, and this is how we do it. There was a time not that long ago. Uh, there was a time not that long ago when you could have walked into any pub in Britain and found people with the same opinions and attitudes as us. I still can, but they're just afraid to voice them out loud, particularly the people that don't already know. This is where we have to start, and we have to build this from the ground up. And whenever we build our strong communities, we need to be picking the people out of them that are good at talking, good at politics, and forcing them into running for elections, and then voting for them and getting them into positions of power. That's the only way we have out of this. And I know it sounds difficult and really a mammoth task. But then again, see, whenever they were starting the peasant revolt against the land enclosures, they were getting murdered for doing that. Same thing whenever they were dragging the king to sign the Magna Carta. What we've done, us as a British people, throughout our history, is to petition and strive for a better and for a more equitable society for everyone. And we seem to have it for everybody else except from us. And we need to change that. And we need to start in our basic nuts and bolts with our communities. This is true. This is true. And the other thing I'm going to say is that, one second, I need to cough. There is no one way forward with this. There are many hundreds, probably thousands of ways forward with all of this. Some people will be attempting to go forward one way. Personally, my opinion is through lobbying and getting changed through the institutions and constitutions, and making sure that our laws are upheld in the way that they're supposed to be. But there's people who want to do other different things. There's a thing going about called the pledge. I had a quick read through it the other day. It sounds very good, very patriotic. You've got different groups that are organising, getting together. Off the top of my head, the Woodlander is doing stuff off on his own. No one of these things on their own are going to solve the problem, but it's going to be the millions of seemingly independent actions the combination of all that fixes this. So everybody needs to plug away and do what they can. Yep, a combo. If the multi-universe theory exists, the Times article in an alternative universe could read 90s indie legend Chris Dangerfield grooms teenage Nazis from his former French colonial palace in Colombia. Oh, fuck. It bloody could. It bloody well could. Nah, talking about community and all of that stuff, I'm going to do our first musical interlude. And it is from a primary school in Northern Ireland who have teamed up with the Children's Hospice to create this song to promote promote the Children's Hospice and whatnot. I'm probably not going to speak very much after this, and I'm going to give it actual genuine warning. It's about to get very fucking dusty in here. But I do believe that what these kids are doing is good. And I'm going to play it. It's Ballywalter Primary School and Northern Ireland Children's Hospice. It would help if I had fucking started doing the screen share before all that. Here we go.
In the dark, we find the purest point of light. And in the cold and empty spaces, we embrace the warmth of life. There's a spark in every precious little child. We can't stop these stars ascending, but we'll hold them for a while. These little stars, they're shining still. They bring us light and always will. They're shining, shining, shining little stars. They're shining, shining, shining little stars. They shine through grief and silence. They shine however far. We feel their light, they're shining bright. We know just where they are. they're shining, shining, shining little stars. They're shining, shining, shining little stars. They shine through the silence. They shine however far. We feel their light. They're shining bright. We know just where they are. We look up every now and then and smile, because at least we had these little stars for a while. They're shining, shining, shining little stars. They're shining, shining, shining little stars.
Yeah, brother. Like I said, it's gonna get fucking dusty in here. What I am gonna say about that is the kids learned a hell of a lot about that, about life and that, how fortunate they are. If you want to know where empathy comes from, it's from doing stuff like that. And the other thing I want to pick up on is there's a bit where the actions were with sign language. The kids actually did learn sign language so they could communicate with them. And I need to. This is not the gloss over that in any way, shape, or form, but I need something a bit happier at the moment. This is the same school, same Ballywalter Primary School, doing another bunch of good deeds, but this time not for people, but for sales. And this is another song. It's the same teachers that did the words and music that, and then the kids learned it. Right, I need to shut up and play this.
It strolls by the shores of the Irish Sea, and the seas that sail where it shouldn't be. If it's in distress or it's acting wrong, if it's awful skinny or missing long, if it's high and dry and far from shore, with its head on low or its flippers sore, we don't get close, we call the pros. We holler for the crewmates of explore us, till late that sometimes doesn't for us. Many a sail has come their way, many a harbor, many a bay, many a up in need, long and mended, tight and free. Lonely and day below, in they come and out they go. Hurt or lost or sick or frail, as hard they Many a seal has found their way, many a harbor, many a prey, many a captain leaves, on and ended, tight and free. Oh, the yea and yea, below, in they come and what they go. Hurt or lost or sick or frail, that's all they deal with seals. Set seals are loose. Hoist away the big caboose. Stand ashore and bid farewell, and safely row through the briny swell. Oh, the yea and yea below, in they come and what they go. Hurt or lost or sick or frail, that's all they deal with seals. That's all they deal with seals. That's all they deal with seals.
Hello there, explorers. I just saw a wee sail doesn't look too well.
There you go. That's Ballywater Primary School looking after the wee seals and getting them back out to sea, which was a little bit more pleasant than the other one. Sad. Very fucking sad. Does anyone see Chris Dingles much anymore? Haven't for years. Brad, I'm not even sure what Chris Dingles is. I've seen some carol singers yesterday. It was quite interesting. I like a little bit of the carol singing. No. And with that, yeah, Ludwig, I can imagine the resilience of the kids would inspire you in such a job, but it's very tough work. I've worked with some profoundly handicapped folk, and it was too emotional for me. Yeah, but I'm going to come back in a second. I need to talk about this a little bit. It is incredibly hard, incredibly hard. I don't do that work. That's just me having seen some people do that type of work, and I know what Emma does. Emma cares for profoundly handicapped children. Uh, very hard work, very emotionally hard. Uh, but goddamn kids are fucking plucky. Those kids are fucking plucky and strong. The decorated orange with a candle on it. I have not seen. I've not seen one of them, and I don't know how many years, Brad. Budgie burgers in. Seals are people in folklore. I'm sure they are. Seals are very human. They are very nice. I like a seal. Well, I've seen one up front, up close, unexpectedly, and it was a lot fucking larger than I thought it was going to be. I was looking down in the River Lagan, and it swam underneath the bit where I was looking. Fuck, give me a bit of a shock. The size of the blighter. He was large. Right, the Mary Celeste. Here we go. I will get this loaded up, and this is coming from history. Well, that's the name of the site. I think it's actually the History Channel, but we'll go with that. Share my screen. What happened to the Mary Celeste? I'll have a quick look at what this looks like on the screen. Yep, that's large enough. Right. The fate of the captain and crew of the Mary Celeste remains one of the most intriguing maritime mysteries of history, which is also why it's quite famous. On the 7th of November, 1872, I need to stop this
Some of the
video.
maritime world's most deep-rooted.
Right, that's that video stopped. On the 7th of November 1872, the 282-ton Baraton set sail from New York Harbor on its way to Genoa in Italy. On board were the ship's captain, On board were the ship's captain, Benjamin S. Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, along with 8 crew members. Less than a month later, on December 5th, a passing British ship called De Grata spotted the Mary Celeste at full sail and adrift about 400 miles east of the Azores. With no sign of the captain, his family, or any of the crew, aside from several feet of water in the hold and a missing lifeboat, the ship was undamaged and loaded with 6 months' worth of food and water. So they weren't chased off by starvation or anything. They had plenty of provisions. They just decided to leave what seemed to be a perfectly functioning boat. The Mary Celeste had a shadowy past. Originally christened Amazon, it was given a new name after a series of mishaps, including the sudden illness and death of its first captain and a collision with another ship in the English Channel. It's starting to look a bit like that fucking film Christine. An investigation into whether to grant payment by its insurers to the De Grata's crew for salvaging the ghost ship found no evidence of foul play. That's in the Mary Celeste. Mary Celeste would sail under different owners for 12 years before its last captain deliberately ran aground in Haiti as part of an attempted insurance fraud. This ship's having plenty of luck, it's just all bad. In 2001, a best-selling novelist and adventurer, Clive Cruiser, claimed to have found the wreck of the Mary Celeste, but later analysis of the timbers retrieved from the ship found that he found showed the wood was still living at least a decade after the Mary Celeste sank, so he didn't find that ship. Meanwhile, one of the most famous maritime mysteries in history endures. Why would an experienced captain such as Briggs or his sailors abandon a perfectly sound ship? Theories over the years have ranged from mutiny and pirate attack to assault by a giant octopus or a sea monster. Dave probably thinks it could possibly have been a duck or a swarm of ducks. While the more scientifically minded proposed that an explosion caused by the fumes of the 1,700 barrels of crude alcohol in the ship's hold. I want to check the chat. Just give us a second. Starting to look like the Titanic before the Titanic. Right, that's okay. All good. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle even weighed in with a short story published in 1884, in which the inhabitants of the ghost ship fell victim to an ex-slave seeking vengeance. On the less sensational end, an investigation in the 2007 documentary, The True Story of the Mary Celeste, was able to offer no definite conclusion, but did suggest a scenario in which a faulty chronometer, rough seas, and clogged onboard jump could have led Briggs to order the ship abandoned shortly after sighting land on the 25th of November. So they reckon that the ship got into difficulties and he thought, fuck this, everybody out, we'll head for that land in this life raft. But that life raft was never ever found. According to the last entry in the ship's logbook made that morning, Mary Celeste was within sight of the Azores Islands of Santa Maria, some 500 miles from where De Grata would find her 9 days later. So it's done 500 miles in 9 days with nobody running it. Sounds a bit like our fucking government. I don't know why that all went back there. Right. So there is the quick bump on it. And now we are going to have some more information on that. Alien, zombie, ghost parts. Who knows? I'm about to dig into all of those. Right. Okay. Right. Where's my next bit? Because I have a whole chunk more info on this. Yeah, in the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia is actually quite good on this. What I will say about Wikipedia is, although it is very politicized and the editors and stuff, for things like this, it's actually quite good. And let's see. When? Yes, we'll do this. Here we go. You've got the rough outline. Here we're going to get a lot of details. The keel of the future Mary Celeste was laid in 1860 at the shipyard of Joshua Dewis in the village of Spencer's Island on the shores of the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, New Scotland. The ship was constructed of locally felled timber with 2 masts and was rigged as a barentine. She was carvel built, the hull planking flush rather than overlapping. She was launched on May 18th in 1861, given the name Amazon, and registered at nearby Porisu on the 10th of June 1861. Her registration documents described her as 100 foot long and 25 foot wide, with a depth of 11.7 and 198 gross tonnage. She was owned by a local consortium of 9 people held by Dewis. Among the co-owners was Robert McLaren, the ship's first captain. For her maiden voyage in June 1861, Amazon sailed to 5 Islands, Nova Scotia, to take on a cargo of timber for passage across the Atlantic to London. After supervising the ship's loading, Captain McLaren fell ill. His condition worsened. The Amazon returned to Spencer's Island, where McLaren died on June 19th. Fuck, he didn't get long on it. He was only just on the thing and it killed him. John Notting Parker took over as captain and resumed the voyage to London, in the course of which the Amazon encountered further misadventures. She collided with fishing equipment in the narrows of Eastport, Maine, and after leaving London ran into and sank a brig in the English Channel. Fuck me. This boat is just doing nothing but causing mayhem. Parker remained in command for 2 years, during which the Amazon worked mainly in the West Indies trade. She crossed the Atlantic to France in November 1861, and her Marseilles was the subject of a painting, possibly by Hordy Perlin, a well-known maritime artist in the Marseille school. Was he like, I found a fucking evil ship and now I'm going to paint it? In 1863, Parker was succeeded by William Thompson, who remained in command until 1867. These were quiet years. Amazon's mate later recalled that we went to the West Indies, England, and the Mediterranean. What we call the foreign trade, not a thing unusual happened. In October 1867, at Cape Belton Island, Amazon was driven ashore in a storm and was so badly damaged that her owners abandoned her as a wreck. On October 15th, she was acquired as a derelict by Alexander McBain. You don't want it, mate. It was bad enough whenever it was functional, running into ships and fucking killing captains. Within a month, McBain sold the wreck to a local businessman who in November 1868 sold it to Richard W. Haynes, an American mariner from New York. Haynes paid $1,750 for the wreck and then spent $8,827 restoring it. He made himself her captain and in December 1868 registered her with the collector of the Port of New York as an American vessel under a new name, the Mary Celeste. In October 1886, the ship was seized by Haynes's creditors and sold to a New York consortium headed by James H. Winchester. That's not necessarily the ship's fault. The owners could be crap at business, which might explain why they bought such a fucking stinker. But yeah. During the next 3 years, the composition of the consortium changed several times, although Winchester retained at least a half share throughout. No record of the Mary Celeste trading activities during this period have been found. In early 1872, the ship underwent a major refit costing $10,000, which enlarged her considerably. Her length was increased to 103 feet, her breadth to 25.7, and her depth to 16.2. They've made it higher. Among the structural changes was a second deck was added, and an inspector's report refers to extensions on the poop deck, new transforms, and the replacement of many timbers. The work increased the ship's tonnage to 282. On October 28th, 1872, the consortium was made up of Winchester with 6 shares and the 2 minor investors with 1 share apiece. The remaining for the 12 shares being held by the ship's new captain, Benjamin Spooner Briggs. Benjamin Briggs was born in Warrenham, Massachusetts on April 24th, 1835. One of the 5 sons of Sea Captain Nathan Briggs. So it runs in the family. He's been on boats all his fucking life. All but one of the sons went to sea, 2 becoming captains. Benjamin was an observant Christian who read the Bible regularly and often bore witness to his father at prayer meetings. In 1862, he married his cousin Sarah Elizabeth Cobb and enjoyed a Mediterranean honeymoon on board his schooner Forest King. Two children were born, Arthur in September 1865 and Sophia Matilda in 1870. All's going pretty good for this guy. He's got a couple of boats, he's got a nice wife, he's got a couple of kids, and now he's got the fucking Mary Celeste. By the time of Sophia's birth, Briggs had achieved a high standing within his profession. He considered retiring from the sea and going into business with his seafaring brother Oliver, who had also grown tired of the wandering life. They did not proceed with this project, but each invested his savings in a share of a ship. Oliver invested in Julia A. Halleck and Benjamin in the Mary Celeste. In October 1872, I wonder was this guy like, I can fix her, I can make her right. In October 1872, Benjamin took command of Mary Celeste for her first voyage following her extensive New York refit, which was to take her to Genoa in Italy. He arranged for his wife and infant daughter to accompany him, while his school-aged son was left at home in the care of his grandmother. Briggs chose a crew for this voyage with care. First mate Albert G. Richardson was married to a niece of Winchester and had sailed under Briggs before. The second mate, Andrew Gillian, aged about 25, was born in New York and was of Danish extraction. The steward, newly married Edward William Head, was signed on with a personal recommendation from Winchester. Four general seamen were Germans from the Frisian Islands, the brothers Forturk and Bos Lazen, Adrian Manters, and Garieb Gardenschlussad. A later testimonial described them as peaceful and first-class sailors. So it got all decent people on. Everybody knew what they were doing, they knew their trade. They just had to sail this boat. In a letter to his mother shortly before the voyage, Briggs declared himself eminently satisfied with the ship and crew. Sarah Briggs informed her mother that the crew appeared to be quietly capable if they continue as they have begun. Yes, because she has seen a lot of times whenever crews arrive on and they're very interested, and then suddenly they become less so. I'm just going to check the comments. Brad has solved it. There you go. He married his cousin. So their kids were so inbred that they took the name Poop Deck literally. So the jumped in the lifeboat to get away from the stench. Oh, it could well be. Anglo reckons you've got it. And Sheila's in. What about the Sheila? So here we go. The abandonment. On October 20th, 1872, Briggs arrived near Pier 50 on the East River in New York City to supervise the loading of the ship's cargo of 1,701 barrels of alcohol. His wife and infant daughter joined him a week later. On Sunday, November 3rd, Briggs wrote to his mother to say that he intended to leave on Tuesday, adding that our vessel is in beautiful trim and I hope we shall have a fine passage. On the morning of Tuesday, November 5th, Mary Celeste left Pier 50 with Briggs, his wife and daughter, and 7 crew members and moved into New York Harbor. The weather was uncertain, and Briggs decided to wait for better conditions. He anchored the ship just off Staten Island, where Sarah used the delay to send the final letter to her mother-in-law. Tell Arthur, she wrote, I make great dependence on the letters I shall get from him, and will try to remember anything that happens on the voyage which he would be pleased to hear. The weather eased 2 days later, and the Mary Celeste left the harbour and entered the Atlantic. While Mary Celeste prepared to sail, the Canadian Barrington de Galtay lay nearby in Hoboken. New Jersey, awaiting a cargo of petroleum destined for Genoa via Gibraltar. Captain David Moorhouse and the first mate Oliver Devue were Nova Scotians, Ulster Scots people in, both highly experienced and respected seamen. Captain Briggs and Moorhouse shared common interests, and some writers think it likely that they knew each other, if only casually. And I would agree with that because in those days, whenever you're in port, all the captains would have congregated. Uh, and if nothing else, talk about what was going on the different waterways, where the pirates were, where the waters were dangerous, how the storms were going, all of that sort of stuff that they shoot the breeze about. Some accounts assert that they were close friends who dined together on the evening before the Mary Celeste departure, but the evidence for this is limited to a recollection by Moorhouse's widow 50 years after the event. Not very dependable then. The graduate departed for Gibraltar on November 15, following the same general route 8 days after the Mary Celeste. The Gala had reached precision of 38 degrees 20 north, and I do not know what the fuck these things mean. Compass bearings. Midway between Azores and the coast of Portugal at about 1 p.m. on Wednesday, 4th December 1872. Land time. So that's what time it was on land. I don't think the time's different than sea, but there you go. Captain Moorhouse came on deck, and the helmsman reported a vessel heading unsteadily towards the Galta at a distance of about 6 miles. The ship's erratic movements and the odd set of her sails led Moorhouse to suspect that something was wrong. As the vessel drew close, he could see nobody on deck, and he received no reply to his signals. So when he sent Davidew, the second mate, John Wright, in a ship's boat to investigate, the pair established that this was a Mary Celeste by the name on her stern. They then climbed aboard and found the ship deserted. The sails were partly set and in poor condition, some missing altogether, and much of the rigging was damaged, with the ropes hanging loosely over the sides. See, I was always told it was in perfect condition, but this does not sound perfect. Although, how perfect do you expect it to be after sailing itself for 9 days? The main hatch cover was secure, but the four Lazanet hatches were open, their covers beside them on the deck. The ship's single lifeboat was a small yawl that had apparently been stowed across the main hatch, but this was missing, while the barnacle housing on the ship's compass had shifted from its place and the glass cover was broken. Right, so the compass was off. There were about 3.5 feet. There were about 3.5 feet of water in the hold, a significant but not alarming amount for a ship of that size. A makeshift sounding rod, a device for measuring the amount of water hold, was found abandoned on the deck. Right, so this water was already in the hold, and they were checking it to see how much water was in there. I'm guessing they knew how much water needed to be in there for it to start to make the whole fucking thing sink. Oh, no. Sorry, I thought they found the ship's dog, but it wasn't. It was a daily log, which is not a dog. They found the ship's daily log in the mate's cabin, and its final entry was dated 8 a.m. on November 25th, 9 days earlier. It recorded Mary Celeste position off Santa Maria Island in the Azores, nearly 400 nautical miles from the point where De Gracia encountered her. Devery saw that the cabin interiors were wet and untidy from the water that had entered through the doorways and the skylights, but were otherwise in reasonable order. He found personal items scattered about Briggs's cabin, including a sheathed sword under the bed, but most of the ship's papers were missing, along with the captain's navigational instruments. Right, so he's took. This is my stuff that I need to know where I am, so I'm taking them with me on this wee boat. Galley equipped. Galley equipment was neatly stowed away. There was no food prepared or under preparation, but there was ample provisions in the stores. There were no obvious signs of fire or violence that the evidence indicated an orderly departure from the ship by means of the missing lifeboat. So something has happened to make these people think we're better off in this small boat than this big boat. DeVue returned to report these findings to Moorhouse, who decided to bring the derelict into Gibraltar 600 nautical miles away. Under maritime law, a salvor could expect a substantial share of the combined value of a rescued vessel and cargo. The exact reward depending on the degree of danger inherent in the salvaging. So if you went out in rough seas and got it, you're going to get a larger percentage. Where the thing with if you haven't done it, it would have sank and you lost everything. They're more inclined to give you more of that than if it was in calm waters. Moorhouse divided the Gracious crew of 8 between the two vessels, sending DeVue and two experienced seamen to Mary Celeste, while he and 4 others remained on the Greta. The weather was relatively calm for most of the way to Gibraltar, but each ship was seriously undercrewed and progress was slow. The Geta reached Gibraltar on December the 12th. Mary Celeste had encountered fog and arrived on the following morning. She was immediately impounded by the Vice Admiralty Court to prepare for salvage hearings. Dever wrote to his wife that the ordeal of bringing the ship in was such that I can hardly tell what I am made of, but I do not care so long as I got in safe. I shall be well paid for the Mary Celeste. So he didn't like even a short time on it. So I'm just going to check the comments. Yep. They were very brave going out and all of that madness. It's not. It's not brain science or rocket surgery. But it is bloody dangerous. Snap, Eleanor. I need to get a move on. Sorry, I was just checking through the chat. Right, okay, I'm going to crack on. Salvage court hearings began in Gibraltar on September 17th under Sir Henry James Cochrane, the Chief Justice of Gibraltar. The hearing was conducted by Frederick Sod Food, Attorney General of Gibraltar, who was also the Advocate General and Proctor of the Queen in her Office of Admiralty. Flood was described by a historian of the Mary Celeste affair as a man whose arrogance and pomposity were inversely proportional to his IQ. That's a hell of a fucking insult. Your arrogance and pomposity are inversely proportional to that of your IQ. Oh, fuck. I'm going to steal that one. And as the sort of man who, once he had made up his mind about something, couldn't be shifted. The testimonies of DeVue and Wright convinced Flood unilaterally that a crime had been committed. A belief picked up by the New York shipping commercial list on December 21st. The inference is that there has been foul play somewhere and that the alcohol is at the bottom of it. Right. So they went, some fucker has drunk the alcohol and chopped everybody up. That's where they're going to with it. No evidence for it, but yeah, let's get somebody fucking strung up. On December 23rd, Flood ordered an examination of Mary Celeste, which was carried out by John Austin, surveyor of shipping, with the assistance of driver Rocco Portman. Austin noted cuts on each side of the bow, caused, he thought, by a sharp instrument, and found possible traces of blood on the captain's sword. His report emphasized that the ship did not appear to have been struck by heavy weather, citing a vial of sewing machine oil found upright in its place. All right, so the saying if they had tipped too much, that oil would have went. Austin did not acknowledge that the file might have been replaced since the abandonment, nor did the court raise this point. Pronto's report on the hull concluded the ship had not been involved in a collision or run aground. A further inspection by a group of Royal Naval captains endorsed Austin's opinion that the cuts in the bow had been caused deliberately. But when were they caused deliberately? There could have been something roped onto it and they needed to cut the ropes, and that's why the marks are there and they could be there for a while. They also discovered stains on one of the ship's rails that might have been blood, together with a deep mark possibly caused by an axe. These findings strengthened Flood's suspicion that a human wrongdoing rather than a natural disaster lay behind the mystery. On January 22nd, 1873, he sent the reports to the Board of Trade in London, adding his own conclusion that the crew had got at the alcohol and murdered the Briggs family and the ship's officers on a drunken frenzy. Holy fuck, they've killed the children and everything now. They had cut the bows to simulate a collision, then failed the yawl to suffer an unknown fate. Flood thought that Morehouse and his men were hiding something, specifically that the Mary Celeste had been abandoned in a more easterly location and that the log had been doctored. He could not accept the Mary Celeste could have travelled so far while it was uncrewed. James Butcher arrived in Gibraltar on January 15 to inquire when Mary Celeste might be released to deliver her cargo. Flood demanded a surety of $15,000, money Winchester did not have. Winchester became aware that Flood thought Winchester might have deliberately engaged a crew that would kill Briggs and his officers at some part of conspiracy. Fuck me. Your mom's head's full of wee fucking sweetie mice. On January 29th, during a series of sharp exchanges with Flood, Winchester testified to Briggs's high character and insisted that Briggs would not have abandoned the ship except in extremity. Flood's theories of mutiny and murder received significant setbacks when the scientific analysis of the stains found on the sword and elsewhere on the ship showed that they were not blood. A second blow to Flood followed in a report commissioned by Horatio Spurlock, the American Council on Gibraltar, from Captain Shredder of the US Navy. In Shredder's view, the marks on the bow were not man-made but came from the natural actions of the sea on the ship's timbers. With nothing concrete to support the suspicions, Flood reluctantly released Mary Celeste from the court's jurisdiction on February 25th. I think the court was just trying to keep the fucker. 2 weeks later, with locally raised crew headed by Captain George Bridgeford from Massachusetts, she left Gibraltar for Genoa. The question of the salvage payment was decided on April 8th when Cochrane announced the award, 1,700, or about 1/5 of the total value of the ship and cargo. This was far lower than the general expectation. One authority thought that the award should have been twice or even 3 times that amount, given the level of hazard in bringing the derelict into port. Cochrane's final words were harshly critical of Morehouse and his decision, earlier in the hearing to send Gibraltar under the veto to deliver a cargo of petroleum. Although Moorhouse had remained in Gibraltar at the disposal of the court, Cocker's tone carried an implication of wrongdoing, which, says Hicks, ensured that Moorhouse and his crew would be under suspicion of the court and public opinion. I'm going to skip a couple of these sections. I'm going to the natural phenomenon. Actually, I'm going to check the chat. Yes, the crew is covering it all up. Oh fuck, that's a cracker too. An empty cab pulls up and Clement Attlee gets out. Oh fuck. Nice. Sorry, I was just checking the chat. Right. Commentators generally agree that some extraordinary and alarming circumstances must have arisen to cause the entire crew to abandon a certain seaworthy ship with ample provisions. Davy ventured that an explanation based on the sounding rod found in the deck. He suggested the brig's abandoned ship after a false sounding because of a malfunction, perhaps with the pumps that created a false impression that the vessel was rapidly accumulating water. A severe water strike before the abandonment could explain the amount of water in the ship and the ragged state of her rigging and sails. The low barometric pressure generated by the spout could have driven water from the bilges up into the pumps, leading to the crew to overestimate the amount of water on the Mary Celeste and believing that she was in danger of sinking. Other explanations include the possible appearance of a displaced iceberg. Yes, Budgie was on that earlier with the Titanic. Before the Titanic, was it an iceberg? Was it Spielberg? Was it Carlsberg? They're all the fucking same. The fear of running aground will be claimed in a sudden submarine earthquake. Hydrographic evidence suggests that an iceberg drifting so far south was improbable and that other ships would have seen it also. Begg gives more consideration to a theory that the Mary Celeste began drifting towards the Dolobrat Reef of Santa Maria Island when she was beclaimed. The theory supposes that Briggs feared that the ship would run aground and launch the yawl in the hopes of reaching land. The wind could then have lifted and blown the Mary Celeste away from the reef, while the raging sea swamped and sank the yawl. The weakness of this theory is that the ship had been beclaimed, all sails would have been set to catch any available breeze, yet it was found with many of its sails still furled. One momento. In 2006, an experiment was performed by Channel 5 television by chemist Andrea Stella of University College London. I think University College London has done a lot of experiments with very fucking dubious results. Just want to put that out there. I'm not 100% sure, but there's something in the back of my mind tells me University College London may not be the most prestigious and honest university in the world. And the results help to revive the explosion theory. Stella built a model of the hold with paper cartons representing the barrels. Using butane gas, he created an explosion that caused a considerable blast and a ball of flame. But contrary to the expectation, there was no fire damage within the replica hold. He said, what we created was a pressure valve type of explosion. There was a spectacular wave of flame, but behind it was relatively cold air. No soot was left behind. There was no burning or scorching. Now, the myths and the false histories. This is where it gets interesting. Fact and fiction became intertwined in the decades that followed. The Los Angeles Times retold the Mary Celeste story in June 1883 with invented detail. Every sail was set, the tiller was lashed fast, not a rope out of place. Yes, that's what I said. That I said I thought she was found fucking perfect and everything. And this is where it comes from. The lying bastards in the Los Angeles Times. The fire was burning in the galley. The dinner was standing untested and scarcely cold. Yes, fucking dinner on the table. That's what I heard. But no, that was not true. The log written up to within an hour of her discovery, not true. 9 days. In November 1906, Overland Monthly and Out West magazine reported the Mary Celeste drifted off the Cape Verde Islands some 1,400 nautical miles south of the actual location. Among many inaccuracies, the first was a man named Briggs, and that there were live chickens on board. No mention of any ducks, though. The most influential retelling, according to many commentators, was the story of January 1884 issue of Cornhill magazine, which ensured that the Mary Celeste affair would never be forgotten. This was an early work of Arthur Conan Doyle, a 25-year-old ship surgeon at the time. Doyle's story, J. Hambrook Jansen's statement, did not adhere to the facts. He renamed the ship Mary Celeste. The captain's name was J.W. Tibbs. The fatal voyage took place in 1873 and was from Boston to Lisbon. The vessel carried passengers, among them the titular Johnson. In the story, a fanatic named Sepius Goring, with a hatred of the white race, has suborned members of the crew to murder Tibbs and take the vessel to the shores of Western Africa. The rest of the ship's company is killed, save for Johnson, who is spared because he possesses a magical charm that is venerated by Goring and his accomplices. Doyle had not expected his story to be taken seriously, but Sprague was still serving as the U.S. consul in Gibraltar and was significantly intrigued to inquire if any part of the story may be true. Oh, which may be where the phrase "you couldn't make it up" comes from. In 1913, the Strand magazine provided an alleged survivor's account from one Abel Fosdick, supposedly the Mary Celeste steward. In this version, the crew had gathered on a temporary swimming platform to watch a swimming contest when the platform suddenly collapsed. All except Fosdick were drowned or eaten by sharks. Unlike Doyle's story, the magazine proposed this as a serious solution to the enigma, but it contained many simple mistakes, including Griggs for Briggs, Boyce for Morehouse. Briggs's daughter is a 7-year-old child rather than a 2-year-old. A crew of 13th and an ignorance of nautical language. In other words, he didn't have the jargon. Many more people were convinced by the plausible literary hoax of the 1920s prepared Irish writer Lawrence J. Keating, again presented as a survivor story of one John Pemberton. This one told of a complex tale of murder, madness, and collusion with the De Grata. It included basic errors such as using Doyle's name, Mary Celeste, and misnaming key personnel. Nevertheless, the story was so convincingly told in the New York Herald Tribune. New York Tribune, still going through, I believe, on July 26th, 1926, believed its truth to be beyond dispute. Hastings described Keating's hoax as an impudent trick by a man not without imaginative ability. In 1924, the Daily Express published a story of Captain R. Lucy, whose alleged informant was Mary Celeste's former boatsman. Although no such person is recorded in the registered crew list. Yeah, if you're going to have a boatswain on board, maybe have one. In this tale, Briggs and his crew are cast in the role of predators. They sight a derelict steamer, which they board and find deserted with 3,500 of gold and silver in its safe. They decide to split the money, abandon Mary Celeste, and seek new lives in Spain, which they reach by using the steamer's lifeboats. Hastings finds it astonishing that such an unlikely story was widely believed at the time. Reader says, "We were fooled by the magic of the print." Seems to be really easy to get people to believe lies, and that seems to be not a new thing. Chambers' Journal on September 17th, 1904, suggests that the entire complement of Mary Celeste was plucked off one by a giant octopus or squid. Now we're at it. Now we're on the fucking money. Give us unleash the Kraken. According to the Natural History Museum, giant squid can reach 15 meters in length and have been known to attack ships. Yes, they have. Oh, and there's killer whales that are attacking ships off Gibraltar as well. Well, not ships, sailing boats. Begg remarks that such a creature could conceivably have plucked off a crew member, but it could hardly have taken the yawl and the captain's navigation instruments. But did it get the captain and the navigation instruments whenever they were in the yawl, trying to escape it? Other explanations have suggested paranormal intervention. An undated edition of British Journal of Astrology describes Mary Celeste's story as a mystical experience, connecting it with the Great Pyramid of Giza, the lost continent of Atlantis, and the British Israel movement. I'm not even going to fucking look up what that is. The Bermuda Triangle has been invoked, even though Mary Celeste was abandoned in a completely different part of the Atlantic. Similar fantasies have considered theories of abduction by aliens and flying saucers. Perhaps at that stage, the aliens didn't come past here with their doors locked. But now, aliens will not be coming down to us. They can see what we're like and go, fuck that shit. Nah. Here's where it gets really fucking interesting. Because you would think, after killing one captain, and then making a whole fucking ship's crew disappear, you would go, fuck that, and leave that boat alone. But no. No. It goes on. Mary Celeste left Genoa on June 26, 1873, and arrived in New York on September 19th. The Gibraltar hearings and newspaper stories of bloodshed and murder had made her an unpopular ship. No shit. Hastings records that she rotted on waves where nobody wanted her. In February 1874, the consortium sold the ship at a considerable loss to a partnership of New York businessmen. That was a bad buy. Under this new ownership, Mary Celeste sailed mainly to the West Indies and Indian Ocean routes, regularly losing money. Details of her movements occasionally appeared in the shipping news. In February 1879, she was reported in the island of St. Helena, where she had called in to seek medical assistance for her captain, Edgar Turhill, who had fallen ill. Turhill died on the island, encouraging the idea that the ship was cursed. She was the third captain to die prematurely on that fucking boat, and none of them had been on it long. In February 1880, the owners sold the Mary Celeste to a partnership of Bostonians headed by Wesley Glove. A new captain, Thomas L. Fleming, remained in the post until August 1884, when he was replaced by Gilman C. Parker. During these years, the ship's port of registration changed several times before reverting to Boston. There are no records of her voyages during this time, although Brian Hicks, in the study of the affair, asserts that the Globe tried hard to make a success of her. They tried to make it successful, but it just was never going to work with that fucking boat. In November 1884, Parker conspired with a group of Boston shippers who filled the Mary Celeste with a largely worthless cargo, misrepresented on the ship's manifest as valuable goods and insured for $30,000 US. On December 16, Parker set off for Port-au-Prince, the capital and chief port of Haiti. On January 3, 1885, Mary Celeste approached the port via the channel between Gove Islands and the mainland, in which lay a large, well-charted coral reef, the Rochelo's Bank. Parker deliberately ran the ship on the reef, ripping out her bottom and wrecking her beyond repair. You think the ship's gone this time? You would think that. He and the crew then rowed themselves ashore, where Parker sold the salvageable cargo for $5,000 to the American consul and instituted insurance claims for the alleged value. When the consul reported what he had brought was almost worthless, the ship's insurers began a thorough investigation, which soon revealed the truth of the overinsured cargo. In July 1885, Parker and the shippers were tried in Boston for conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. Nobody mentioned insurance fraud in connection with the Titanic, and that boat was fucking fine when it left here. Here being East Belfast. Parker was additionally charged with willfully casting away the ship, a crime known as battery, which at the time carried a death penalty. He could be in fucking hot water here. The conspiracy case was heard first, but on August 15th, the jury announced that they could not agree on a verdict. Some jurors were unwilling to risk prejudicing Parker's forthcoming capital trial by finding him guilty on the conspiracy charge. Rather than ordering an extensive retrial, the judge negotiated an arrangement whereby the defendants withdrew the insurance claims and repaid all that they had received. So what had happened was the jury were worried because they knew this man could be getting tried for something that could make him swing, and they did not want their trial for a lesser charge to prejudice any other jury and go, well, a jury's found him guilty of this, so he must be guilty of that other thing. And they went, no, we need to wait. This needs to be the second one. And if he gets found guilty for the one they're going to hang him for, this one doesn't really matter. The battery charge against Parker was deferred and he was allowed to go free. Nonetheless, his professional reputation was ruined and he died in poverty. 3 months later. That's the 4th fucking captain this boat has killed. One of his co-defendants went mad and another killed himself. Oh, there's more. It just doesn't stop. The ship's a killing machine. Beg observed that if the court of man could not punish these men, the curse that had delivered the ship since her first skipper, Robert McLaren, had died on her maiden voyage could reach beyond the vessel's watery grave and exact its own terrible retribution. In August 2001, an expedition headed by the marine archaeologist Arthur Clive Cluster announced that they had found the remains of the ship embedded in the Rochelle Reef. Only a few pieces of timber and some material artifacts could be salvaged, the remainder of the wreckage being lost within the coral. Initial tests on the wood indicated that it was a type extensively used in New York shipyards at the time of Mary Celeste's 1872 refit. And it seems the remains of Mary Celeste have been found. Yeah, but it's probably not. Nah, I'm going to read this bit because I've read everything else. The Mary Celeste was not the first reported case of a ship being found strangely deserted in the high seas. Robert Gould, a naval officer and investigator of maritime mysteries, lists other such occurrences between 1840 and 1855. Whatever the truth of these stories, it is the Mary Celeste that is remembered. The ship's name, or the misspelled Mary Celeste, has become fixed in people's minds as synonymous with inexplicable desertion. In October 1955, MV Jota, a 70-ton motor vessel, disappeared in the South Pacific while traveling between Somalia and Turkey with 25 people on board. The vessel was found a month later, deserted and drifting north of Lulafilla, 600 miles away from its route. None of those aboard were seen again. A commission of inquiry failed to establish an explanation. David Wright, the affair's principal historian, has described the case of a classic maritime mystery of Mary Celeste proportions. So there you go. That is all about the Mary Celeste. And I'm going to go back to the streaming yard and see what these are. Oh, we've got the tins of peaches. They are indeed eating the pets. Right. I think what we're going to have next is a musical interlude. Well, I figured exactly what I'm going to do next. And we might as well have the popular song. A bit of Anglo-Saxon. Hello, you're listening to 42's letter to the Anglo-Saxons. When you spread this message, you are the resistance. The Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon shook his head sharply, his hair dislodging droplets of sweat from the back of his neck, the produce of moving a carcass to the workbench. The sharpened blades and cleavers felt natural in his hand. The carcass divided to his will. The Anglo-Saxon's muscle memory was that of a warrior. His body was lost to the toil, but his mind wandered to memories that were not his own. An intruder startled the Anglo-Saxon. However, before him was not the meadows and glades of his ancestors, but a butcher's shop window. While politely serving the customer, the Anglo-Saxon mourned the loss of a kingdom he had never known, of the rituals and customs that were lost long before his grandparents were even born. Outside, the street was a bustle. He knew there were others like him, ones who carried the warrior's pride. Amongst them he would find the rightful place of an Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon.
It was not preached to the crowd, it was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud when the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. It was not suddenly bred, it will not swiftly abate. Through the chill years ahead, when the time shall count from the date that the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. When time shall count from the date the Anglo-Saxons began to hate.
Game over.
That ending still makes me giggle. I'm sorry, but it does. That's just the way of it. What else? Oh, yes. I have information for you all. Please be aware there is no show next week. It's coming close to Christmas. That's the other thing. We are currently in a 53 week year. There are 53 weeks in this year. It's an absolute bollocks. It has confused everything and made it strange. Which is why the Strictly Come Dancing final is a week earlier than what it always is. Now, the Saturday before Christmas, Emma G and I go out for dinner with my dad and my sister, and then we have our Christmas here, and then on Christmas Day, I am up with my dad, and Emma is with her little people, because that's how it works. So there will be no show next week because it's our Christmas show off, or Christmas week where we don't have a show. I am considering possibly doing about an hour on Christmas Eve from 11:30 to 12:30 just to get people over the midnight thing. I will probably also do something similar to that on New Year's Eve. More if there's a bunch of people that would be on their own. I would rather do that together. Although, having said that, last year Dave Waffle streamed over New Year's. If he's streaming over New Year's, I'll simply go there. It was actually quite a nice communal New Year last year in the Waffle House. So there's that, and that coming up. The other thing is my throat is dry as fuck because my heating has fucking died. Well, my boiler has died, which means I've had to use electric convector heaters all week, and it's drying out the air, and my throat is dry as fuck and hardly speak. And I'm fucking sniffing and sneezing, so I may cut this a bit short this evening. I will do what else I want to say. Got a couple of what I want to say about this year. Where I've got to this year is my realization is there's a lot of whenever I first escaped, I put a lot of boundaries and stuff in place, and now they're all in totally the wrong place. I'll give you a really stupid example one. Like, whenever I moved into this flat, I was like, it's a council flat, I don't own it. I'm not putting any effort into this place, really. Although I painted all the walls and decorated it and I put flooring in and made it nice, but it didn't do anything past that. And 9 years later, 10 years later, I've eventually increased the amount of sockets in my bedroom. Uh, Nothing major. I just got a extension lead and got that screwed on the wall and made the cable all nice and not over clumpy. And that's because I was. Um, the main reason I'm only realizing it now. The main reason is because I decided 42 doesn't really do anything to this flat, although Molly has to. And I've finally decided that that was a really good idea at the time because I could have made some bad decisions. But time has moved on, life has changed, and it's time to do things a bit differently. And what I'm advocating for is a yearly reassessment of your barriers, boundaries, and behaviors. And oh, I'm spending Christmas with Billy and Julie Bendel. Oh, God. Brad, Julie Bendel will put you into a camp where you can drive away fans and your female family members can take you out like a library book whenever they want you. You know, and Billy just be talking fucking madness all stop all day. That's not good. It's really not good. You don't want to be doing that. Uh, so there's that. So that's my profound thing. The other thing is I'm going to try to be more organized. I'm going to write more. And that's what I'm planning for doing next year. The other thing is I'm going to do another musical interlude. I want to have something fun, funny. And what I'm going to play. Yep. Yep. Going to have a wee go at The Devil Went Down to Jamaica. Going to play that and check the chat and see if there's anything else. But this is going to be winding up pretty soon, I reckon.
The devil went to Jamaica. He was looking to sell some weed. He was doing fine. They were standing in line. It was excellent weed indeed. When he came across this young man who was likewise peddling pot, and the devil slid down the beach to the kid and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you kind of figured I'm a reefer head, of course. And after all this time, I guess that I'm a connoisseur of sorts. Now, your stuff smells okay, but this could tranquilize a horse. I'll bet $1 million in cash against your stash because I think mine's better than yours." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and you ain't smoked nothing yet. One hit of this grass will kick your ass. You got yourself a bet. Johnny, roll a ball of hash and make sure it's the bomb, because the devil's got the kind of stuff they smoked in Vietnam. You'll get $1 million smackaroos in cash if you can cope, but if you can't, the devil will get your dope." The devil packed a bong with a little Acapulco gold, and resin flew from his fingertips as he fired up his bowl. He filled that chamber all the way, and he took a mighty hit. As they passed it back and forth, it gave them both a coughing fit. Damn. When the bowl was finished, Johnny said, "Hey man, that stuff was great, but fill your lungs with some of this and prepare to vegetate. Cannabis sativa, sweet Mary Jane. The devil's in the backyard frying his brain. Zigzag filled with a diggity dank. Hold on tight, it'll hit you like a tank. The devil nodded off because he knew that he was stoned, and he asked if he could buy an ounce of the stuff that Johnny owned. Johnny said, devil, just come on back if you ever want to catch a buzz. I done told you once, you son of a bitch, mine's the best there ever was. And they fired up doobies one by one. Ain't it gonna stop till the bag is done. Green as a bullfrog, sticky as glue. Granny, do you get high? Yes, I do.
There we go. That was a little bit of The Devil Went Down to Jamaica. I do want to say something. I've been doing this every Saturday night for, I don't know, 2 years there or thereabouts. And I'm coming up on 1,000 subscribers, something I never thought I'd do. That Anglo-Saxon song is coming up in fucking 10,000 views. Really delighted with that. More so delighted with got to tell Anglo-Saxon story in a way that it came across. Got to work with Al Mack with his wonderful music, and have had you lot every Saturday night along the way of everything that we've done. And it does genuinely mean a lot to me that you lot all tune in to here on a Saturday night and pitch in the chat, and we'll have a bit of crack and a banter, and it's all good. And that you watch the other stuff. If you aren't here live, just watch it and catch up or do whatever. Leave the odd comment and stuff. I feel very honoured that I get to spree my strange, weird, and wonderful opinions out here on a Saturday night, and you have to turn up. I feel very blessed for that, and I want to thank you all very much. I would not, it would not be, and I've learned a lot doing this and listening to you. Also, since I'm doing this, big thank you to Emma G. We are indeed us. Yep. Who is teaching me to be more diplomatic than I previously was. I'm being very nice about it. I really appreciate that. As I've said many times, the whole basis of this is community. And we have got you got two choices. We're going to hang tight together or get strung up alone. Because I swear to God, everybody strap in there, because we are at a very dangerous stage with the government. They know they're losing power. They know they're losing popularity, and they're liable to do any fucking thing. So keep your wits about you. Look out for each other. And stay together. And keep kicking that lowest bottom brick, the brick that's closest to you. Kick it, agitate. Do what you can. Do it wisely. You get one go on this spinning ball of mud. Try and leave something good. Be kind to your neighbours. And also understand who your neighbours are. Because your neighbours are the people you live beside and amongst. Nobody any further than that. Interesting thing, medieval times, whenever we had the fairs that go around the country that I talk about and all that sort of stuff, if you were setting up a stall, if you were local to the area, there was a different price to somebody who was an outsider from the area. They're still English. Live maybe 30 mile up the road, but whenever they came to your market fair, they could charge they get charged a little bit extra for doing that. Or the locals got a discount. Think about it whatever way you want. And in a lot of places, whenever they were letting people in to see the goods and all, for the first hour, they wouldn't let outsiders in. It was just for the locals. They got their first pick over everything. You know, they would have called the people from outside their little village or their little town foreigners. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to understanding that our community is the people that we live amongst, the people our kids go to school with, the people that go to the same church, the people that are in the same organisations. That's who your neighbours are. That's who you love as yourself, not people outside of that. We are indeed. We are indeed. And with that, I'm going to pull up harmony, melody, and rhyme. But actually, I'm going to do a double outro. I'll do the I'll eat the bugs, and then I will do the. I'm going to eat the bugs, and then I'm going to do harmony, melody, and rhyme, and I'll put your comments up. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to do whenever I get a chance is I'm going to try to do a director's cut version of the.
This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. Oh shit, man. Eat the bugs? You got me wrong. You got me so wrong. You ever seen a cave drawing of somebody with a spear hunting a mosquito? Well, me either. We eat meat and we have choices. You cook the hedgehog right? It tastes like chicken. Fucking chicken. I ain't eating your bugs. I ain't eating your bugs. I started off with nothing, now I'm never going back. I'm not getting on your progressive track. With Agenda 2030, I refuse to engage. I can see where it is going and it's just another cage. I've got hedgehog, I've got rabbit, I've got wild hog. Fuck it, I could even move to Alaska and get me a nice caribou. Eating your bugs. You're trying to take away what I got so hard to get, so I'm going to say no to your cattle car train. Eat the bugs, live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy. Oh, nothing and be happy. I've seen the people with nothing and they don't look happy. Eat the bugs, live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy. Oh, nothing to be happy. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Oh shit, man, you got me wrong. You got me so fucking wrong. There are millions of us in the UK, billions worldwide, unvaccinated, striding out into our third winter of death with not a care in the world. Eating pig, eating cow, eating chicken, and we will not conform. Fuck it, I'm not eating your bugs. Hey, Klaus Schwab, this is 42, and I want the word with you, motherfucker.
This is the fourth industrial revolution. We have
talking. Why is United Nations in charge of Stonehenge? Keeping me away from the stones? That's not world heritage, that's British heritage. You're getting to a point where the people just want to be left alone and going to get involved. Tell me again, why is United Nations running Stonehenge? Fuck it. Stonehenge museum's a fucking Perry mountain range now owned by UNESCO, so you and I can never go. Fuck your 15-minute cities and your Internet of Things. We are going back to nature, see what that life brings. We had a good look at the planning we did, so we hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We'll hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid.
This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance.
Fuck it.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. For from that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing for all time. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before, forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. You cannot kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. The gods of water, earth, and land brought us through a line. The earth, the moon, the sun, each became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence, or is it just sublime that we now bring excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? Control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream, and we shall walk this journey together.
I'm leaving that up. Brad, very true. There is no 2.0. And if Northern Ireland gets removed from Great Britain, we know we are no longer a kingdom. Scary thoughts. But what I really want to say is, everybody, thank you very much. Very, very close to Christmas, closer to winter solstice. Have your day. Enjoy yourself. Gather with friends and family. Please remember, the most important thing under the Christmas tree is the other people that are there with you. That's what it's about. It's about the people. It's not about the presents. But it's also about putting bits away and making sure that on that day, as we're coming out of the darkness, we've got stuff and we're going to have a good day. Eleanor, thank you very much. And all I have to say is, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. And I'll talk to you all soon. Good night. God bless. I'm out of here. Goodbye.